pollen season is in full swing and you may be looking for some relief. So I'm here with CVS pharmacist Ronnie Seedholm. We are talking about the different types of allergy medication because I know when you go into the store there's so many options out there and sometimes you're trying to figure out which one will bring you the most relief. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you for having me here today.
So let's go over some of the different types of allergy medications out there, and then is there a best one for the pollen season or for spring allergies?
Yeah, absolutely. So usually with allergies, we've got three different types of medications people tend to use. There are antihistamines, which I think most people are familiar with. There are some decongestants, and then corticosteroids, nasal sprays. And those are the most common ones that we use and see being used by patients during this pollen season.
Now, if they have pollen allergies, is there one that's a go-to, or is it really kind of whatever best for your body?
Yeah, it's really what's best for your body. I think at a lot of points people have tried different things. So if you look kind of in front of me here today, I have a couple of different, these are antihistamines. There's drowsy and non-drowsy based on what you're looking for. There's some that help for both indoor and outdoor. So some of those that you might be familiar with, loratadine, sold as a name brand Claritin. You've got Zyrtec, which is a name brand, and that's cetirizine.
And that would be
so
this one.
yes, ma'am. And so those are a couple of the common ones that you'll see out in the stores that you can purchase. If you've got, and that's for this typical symptoms, runny nose, watery eyes, you got that itchiness in your back of throat you just can't get. So that helps with some of that. There's also the corticosteroid nasal sprays. So if you've got sinus inflammation, which I happen to get a lot of that, I definitely use some of that. You'll see that marketed as Flonase or any of those Nasacort, and those are just steroids you shoot up and they kind of reduce the inflammation in the sinus tissue, which can also be a great option if you just get a lot of that sinus symptom.
So maybe try that if some of these aren't working as well.
Yes.
Would you do it in combination too?
You can use it in combination. Again, folks that have a history of allergy symptoms or sinus symptoms or sinusitis in general can usually end up using both. And again, it just, when you're using the steroid inhalers, sometimes, or the nasal sprays, they will seem to cause less of the other side effects that you might get from some of these antihistamines. So antihistamines tend to dry you up more. And again, some of them are drowsy and non-drowsy, so there's those side effects. So again, depending on the symptoms that you have, if it's sinus, I would use the steroid nasal sprays. If you are not very keen on taking medications or using steroid nasal sprays or even using decongestants like Sudafed, because some people have heart conditions and heart rate issues, they shouldn't take that medication. There's non-medicated options, which is the saline nasal sprays, or a sinus rinse that you could use. There's salt in there that helps kind of draw out the moisture and also cleans out the sinus cavities. So what happens with that pollen, sometimes it kind of just gets stuck in there and it causes you to constantly and repeatedly sneeze and kind of causes that reaction. And so this will help clean out some of that. Your nose is like an air filter, so this will help clean it out.
That's that teapot looking thing,
yes,
right?
Yes,
you have to weirdly put it up your nose and in and out,
oh,
one nostril out.
Oh yeah, it's probably the most awkward thing you have to do at home, but but it does help a lot of people. Okay. Yes,
All
absolutely.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Ronnie, for joining us today and explaining the different types of allergy medications.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me today.
You're welcome.